Hello and welcome back to Ride Rescue. In this episode, I'm going to finish up the wing windows on the car. I've got this side in and done. I'll finish up the passenger side. Experimented a lot here on the driver's side. We'll get into the other side. We'll get all of it put back together, and I'll walk you through everything that's involved in these wing windows and fixing the cranks, getting these doors back together. You can see there's some little metal tips on these. They go through the metal and then they bend over and they're crimped on. It's going to be tough getting back in there because this channel is riveted down here. So I'm going to have to be real gentle to not break that rivet loose and to be able to go inside of here and bend over those little crimped areas. But as for this U shape, that is screwed on. It's kind of difficult to get out just because it's petrified, but once you get it broken loose, there's the old piece. And I just want to try and clean out the channel. And again, I just have some steel wool. This is the part that I ended up getting. It's for all the full-size General Motors. It's made by Super Seal. I don't know if you can see that. Fargo, a manufacturer. It's good quality. It has a brass metal plate in the back for the screws to go into. Very, very soft. So looking closely at how this all goes together on the rubber, because it's hard to tell, it's so petrified, but the U shape goes in first. At the bottom, there's a channel, and there's also a channel on the inside of this, so it's got to be clipped into that channel. You have to work the screw to get it to punch through that rubber surface to get into the metal, but it did eventually pop through. Okay, now that that is in place, So what I'm doing now is I'm just bending over these little metal tips. Now these last two goes all the way through that channel, and that's what actually holds this channel down. And you want to get those bent as flat as possible into the felt so that it doesn't drag on the glass. You just have to manipulate the rubber pieces in there the way they overlap so that they're smooth and not bent and twisted and wrinkled. Now with that in there, I can put the glass back in. It has a pretty good hump in the rubber that traps this little peg, and then the peg sinks into the rubber as well as sink into this metal. So it's a bit of a challenge to get it up and over that hump. Once that got lined up, then I just tap that into place. Now it is locked in with a brand new, very soft seal. Good quality seal too. It looks really good. It looks every bit as good as the original manufacturer. Very nice. One side down, one to go. So this is interesting. On the opposite side, the driver's side, the original piece off of this car that was broken, I used the one from my parts car, and the parts car was an early 1960, where this car is in March of 1960. They're made completely different. The other one, the one I just finished, this piece came through the channel, and this outer piece that the felt in it was riveted on, and it was riveted on here at the bottom. This one, I thought I broke the rivet, but it's just glued in place. So the earlier model, they were gluing them in, and they must not have held. So they decided to start riveting this bottom piece. So I'm going to have to clean this track out because all the adhesive is just turned to powder. And then I'll have to go back in with a really good strong adhesive and glue this back in again the way it was original. Okay, now that powder is all cleaned out of there, I'll put this rubber piece in. It's definitely going to be easier to install this. Okay, I'm finished with the driver's side piece. I got all the rubber seal in. I got the edge all crimped down. Now I'm going to use some fast tack trim adhesive. This has a little bit of an expanded channel, and it kind of locks in there. And then they just put a little adhesive on it. Whoops, the end of the piece just fell off. And then they had just run a bead of adhesive. So I'm going to do the same thing. This little piece was just on with adhesive as well, which is the top piece. I'm going to put a little adhesive on that on both sides. And I'm going to run a healthy bead down this. That is some sticky stuff. Okay, if all goes well, this should, hopefully, easily go back together. And you'll need to get the glass into that channel before you can get everything lined up. And then before you get too far, I need to put this back in, and that's got to go up and slide up into place. It's not fun, and I'll need to get that glass up out of the way. You want to make sure to get the glass into its channel and everything lined up. So hopefully we're going to have to spend a whole lot of time getting everything to line back up on the body of the car. Since this is the same piece that came out, we should be able to attach the screws and where the washers, the grip washers, line up. Hopefully we can get everything lined up without having to do too much trial and error. So let's put this piece up inside. I'll bolt this down to get that all the way back up into position. So I'm going to use these to line up those marks. So these three bolts now I have lined up where they were originally from. There's another bolt on the inside here that is adjustable that can change the pivot of this piece. I had to screw that in order to remove it. So we'll have to play a little trial and error, opening and closing the door to get it positioned correctly. But for now, just want to get this up into place. Once it's in place, you'll be able to see the bolt for the pivot arm on the glass. And it is. Now we can put in the last three. Look at that. It's smooth. Goes all the way open. It goes all the way shut. It's not going in and out. That's exciting. And everything's clear on the back side. There's nothing to interfere with those bolts that we put in and tapped into place. So that was a very good fix. If we're lucky, I can close this door without any major issues. Yeah. Roll this window up all the way. Make sure it looks good. Looks good. All I gotta do now is put this little piece of trim back on. And while I have this door off, or the door panel, I was going to adjust that hinge because it felt like it was sagging just a little bit. But now that I've got the wing window adjusted and the glass is fitting correctly, it's opening and closing perfectly. So I don't need to adjust that hinge after all. So I'll just be able to put that panel back on. But I'll pop these nails out. These nails are just going to get in the way. And where these nails were, I'm going to have to just add some screws. The top of this panel was put on with a screw, and the bottom was put on with a screw. As much as I hate to do it, I'm just going to have to add screws to go around. When the door panels are restored, they put a metal piece around here. These little nails ended up being kind of a bad design. They had a lot of problems with them. In the early 60s, they changed to a hole with a little spring-loaded clamp, which worked much better. So I have these larger panel washers that are a nice stainless steel. It should be just big enough. I like to set my door handles to where the handle to open the door is perfectly straight, horizontal. I like my window cranks to be vertical. When the windows are rolled down, they're going to fall wherever, but when the windows are up, I don't know, I'm just kind of weird that way. I like to have them vertical and horizontal. getting closer to getting it driven. I have been running it a little bit. It's running the battery dead, so that's another issue I'm going to have to look at before I can take it for a drive. Looks like there's some generator issues. It's not generating, it's actually drawing. I don't know if it's the voltage regulator or maybe some wires, but we'll get out the voltmeter and amp meter and whatever other meter and we'll start playing with it and see if I can figure out what that issue is. So thank you for watching this episode of Ride Rescue. Keep plugging away, getting this car closer and closer to having it drivable. Appreciate you watching my videos. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Appreciate any help, support that I can get. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks again for watching.